Images can add beauty, information, and context to the content on your site, and they can also be the focal point of posts and pages or even a gallery on your site. WordPress allows you to add images in many different ways and also allows you to manipulate those images once they're added into your content. So let's take a look first at how you can add images into an existing post and place it within the text of that post. Right now, I have this post, and though it looks nice from a typographic point of view, it doesn't have any interest factor. There are no images in here, and that's kind of weird because this article is about taking pictures. So I want to add in an image that has something to do with photography. To do so, the first thing I need to do is jump to the editor, and since I'm looking at the front end of the site and the post I want to edit, I'm simply going to click Edit Post here in the toolbar to jump directly to the editor. Now I need to add my image. So first, I'm going to try adding it at the very top of my post here. So I'm going to place my cursor at the very top and then add another line. And then I'm going to click the Add Media button. This opens my Insert Media panel. And from here, I can insert media into a post in several different ways. If I already have images or other media content on my site, they can be found in the media library. But right now I don't have anything because I haven't uploaded any content yet. So therefore, there's nothing in my media library. I can also choose to upload new files directly from my computer, or I can insert files from a URL. So for now, we're going to look at uploading files. I can do that either by clicking Select Files and browsing for the file, or if I already have a folder open with the image, I can simply grab the image and just dump it in. The image now gets uploaded into WordPress, and now I have to append some information to the image before I do anything else. You'll see here on the right-hand side, you have attachment details, and it starts with title. When you upload an image to WordPress, WordPress actually makes a new post called an attachment post that has all the information about that image. That means people who visit the site can see that attachment post and all the information about the image. And it also means if you need to use an image again later in your site, you can simply go here to the media library, make a search for the image in question, and then just use it again. So you don't have to re-upload an image every time you want to use it. Once it's uploaded into the system, you can use it anywhere you want. Of course, for you to be able to find your image, you have to make sure it has a title that you can recognize. So the first thing I'm going to do is give this image a proper title. Morton with a K1000. So that describes the image for me, so I know I can find it again if I need it. Next, I can set a caption if I want to. Now I'm going to use a caption in a little bit, but for now we're going to leave that blank and move on to the alternate text. The alternate text is the most ignored and most important feature of images on the web. The idea of the alternate text is if someone visits the site and don't see the image, either because there's something wrong or because they're using a browser that doesn't display images, like a text-to-speech browser or maybe a smartwatch or a glass or something like that, they need to get the information from the image, and that's the information that's displayed in the alternate text. The alternate text should be a description of the image. Now there's 3 rules that apply here. The first rule is, if the image has relevance to the content or has some information in it, the alternate text should be that information. So because this image has relevance, I'm going to describe it. If the image is a link pointing to somewhere else, the alternate text should tell the viewer where that link is pointing. So that's the same as the title for the link. If the image has absolutely no informational content and is purely for aesthetic purposes, then you can leave alternate text blank. That means there are very few cases where alternate text should be left blank. In almost every case, you should be describing the image. So remember that anytime you upload a new image to always add the alternate text. The description field, which comes next, is an optional field you can use if the image has a lot of information in it. Let's say, for example, the image is a graph, a mathematical graph, or a formula. You may want to communicate that in text form to the people visiting the site, and this description field is where that text would go. Now that we've added the information we need to the image, it's time to insert it into the content. And to do so, we need to go to the attachment display settings. To start off, we have to set the alignment of the image. You have 4 options here. Left, which aligns the image to the left with the text to the right. Center, which places the image on its own line with text above and below it. And right, which places the image on the right with the text on the left. The fourth option, None, places the image in line with the rest of the text, and it's an option I do not encourage you to use because it produces some very weird results sometimes. So generally use left, center, or right. I'm going to use center for now. Then you can choose where you want the image to link to. By default, WordPress wants any image to be a link to the original image, which is the media file. But you can change this to either be the attachment page, which is the page for the image that has all the information about the image. You can also set it to a custom URL, meaning you can put in any URL you want and make the image point anywhere you want. If you do this, remember to change the alternate text to describe the target of the URL, or you can change it to none. So I'm going to change it to none. Finally, you get to choose what size you want this image to appear as. And this is kind of interesting the first time you see it. When you upload an image into WordPress, WordPress makes a series of different versions of that image for you to use. So even though I uploaded a large image, WordPress created a thumbnail for me and a medium size. And had my original image been big enough, I would also have had a full size. So I'd have a full 4 different versions of the image to choose from when I insert it. So here you can choose the size that is appropriate to your content. I'm going to use the medium size, 300 by 225, and click Insert into Post. Now in my editor, you can see the image appear, and I can click Save Draft, go back to my toolbar and click View Post. And now I can see my post with the image. And immediately I see I put the image in the wrong place. I want the image to appear on the right-hand side next to the text instead. To do so, I can simply go back and edit my post. And then I need to edit the image, so I'll click on the image and click on Edit Image. And this brings me to a new image editor. And from here, I can now realign the image. So I'm going to click Right. You can see in the preview, this aligns my image to the right. And then I click Update. Now you see my image floating to the right, and the text here is to the left. And because I made a paragraph earlier, I'm going to go to the top here and hit backspace once to shift the text all the way up to the top. I also want to add a caption to my image, so I'm going to click on the image again, click on Edit Image, and then add a caption in the caption field, and click Update. And the preview will show you the caption right here, and if I like it, I can click Save Draft, and then we view post again to see what that looks like. Now you see my image is floating to the right with my text to the left, and you can see the caption. Looking at this, I realized I should really put this image down on the second paragraph. To do that, I need to do a little trick. So I'm going to go back into Edit Post here. And then you'd think that I could now just take the image, click on it, and just drag it somewhere else, but I can't. That's because of this caption. And I could go into the details about what this happens, but suffice it to say, you can't move an image that has caption on it. To move this image, I actually have to remove the caption first. So follow along here. I click on the image, go to Edit Image. Then I go and find my caption, and I'll cut it out. So I'll use Control-X to just cut it out. Now I can update the image and grab it and move it around. Scroll down here a bit. So I'm going to grab the image and move it down to the second paragraph. Now that the image is where I want it to be, I'll click on it again, go back to Edit, go back to Caption, and paste the caption back in. Update the post, save the draft, and view the post. And now my image appears down here in the second paragraph with the same caption. As you can see, adding images to your posts is a relatively simple procedure. And as with everything else in WordPress, it's extremely flexible and nothing is ever permanent. Add a picture, see if it works the way you want it to. If it doesn't, go back and change it. Just remember to always preview what you've done on the front end of your site so you know everything appears the way it's supposed to.